My name is Will Callahan, and today's date is September 2nd, almost the 3rd. I am 23 years old. Yeah. I have 1,135. Take that, Beyonce. It'd probably be this one. Angsty Angst. Well, my connection is knowing you, Jeremy, and Logan for so gosh dang long. I've done the South Park live action movie, and also I worked on one other film that I remember we only filmed like the first like two scenes of it. I'm blanking on the name. I unfortunately I don't remember. This was going back maybe like 4 or 5 years ago now. Well, when I think of Blackwolves and what it means to me, I think of a space for young artists to collaborate with each other, to bounce ideas off of each other, and to support each other's work. Well, the first one that comes to mind is obviously the South Park movie. That was really fun. But something that really sticks out to me with Black Wolves was your guys' production of DNA that I know unfortunately didn't get to go on due to unfortunate circumstances. But I just absolutely loved how interactive and how it just was a completely student-run production. It was really just amplified how independent and how willing you guys are to try new ideas. One that sticks out to me was when I joined the Broadway National Tour Pippin. It was about 3 months left in the tour, and I had about maybe 2 weeks tops to like learn the entire show. A lot of acrobatics, a lot of dancing, singing, all that stuff. And about 3 weeks into my run, I had finally just felt like starting to feel a little comfortable in my track, and I was like, okay, this all seems familiar, and like I feel like now I can start making more choices. And then out of nowhere, we had a complete we had to have an understudy night, and there were about 3 understudies on stage, and it was this energy that I can't really explain, but it was something like it was the first time ever in my career that I felt like every single person on stage was fully connected with each other, and it was like this energy that I truly I don't know how else to explain it. My bike, don't know what I do without her. That is such a hard question. I don't know if I could just pick one because I'm still kind of struggling with the fact that Toy Story 4 might be the greatest movie ever made. But if I had to pick one like perfect movie in my opinion, I would pick City Lights by Charlie Chaplin. Blue. If you couldn't tell from my shirt and on my wall, blue has always been my favorite color. I went through like a bit of like a rebellious, angsty teen phase where I was like, no, I like red, but it's always been blue. Always. All the time. I feel like if I'm doing good work, I have that pressure just naturally there and that stress there. Like I feel like I need that stress and that pressure to like make sure I'm making something good. Oh my god. When it's raining out and you're walking down the sidewalk and you have your umbrella and then someone else is walking toward you and with their umbrella as well, and you lift up your umbrella so they can like go under yours, but then they lift it up even higher and you're just like in this competition of like who's more polite. Drives me crazy. If I knew there was going to be a pandemic, I would say travel and invest a lot of money in Zoom. I hope to be happy and to be doing what I love, and everything else is just gravy. That would have to be LeBron James when I was on SNL as a kid. I was going into the 5th grade, and I was on the show for 2 weeks. I was just an extra, like in this scene that I was doing with LeBron James, Kenan Thompson, Maya Rudolph, Fred Armisen, and Bill Hader. The scene was that I was sitting in front of these two old men, Kenan Thompson and LeBron James, while they were heckling a basketball game. And they were saying ridiculous things, and every time like Maya Rudolph, like she'd be like, "Excuse me, like my son's here, do you mind?" And I just like was sitting there with my popcorn or whatever. And yeah, I did that, and for the first week I was there, the way that they do it is I'll have the extras come on a Thursday, You'll rehearse it a little bit. Friday, you'll rehearse it a little bit. And then Saturday, they have the dress run and the live show. And the dress run is 2 hours long. And they have about 2 or 3 scenes that they need to cut. And unfortunately, the scene that I was in got cut. And then the next week I came, it was something kind of similar. It wasn't a basketball game, but it was a baseball game. And Andy Samberg was this guy who like did a dance every time this team got a home run, and they just kept getting home runs, so he kept getting up and he kept dancing along to like whatever their like anthem song was. And that got cut too. But I did get to work with some really cool people, and I was so young at the time that I didn't really process like how cool it was to be there and how cool it was to be just around like some of these people. I remember Kanye West performed when I was there with LeBron. The first week I was there with LeBron James, and I remember we like walked through the hallway and we're all like, Kanye. It was cool. See, that's another hard question, because I feel like with actors, like we have like a list of like our favorite movies or favorite shows or our favorite actors, and like, I mean, a couple like names like come to mind, like Bryan Cranston, Danny Rad, Will Smith, Tom Hanks. But if I'm talking about someone that I want to like collaborate with, it would be Alex Timbers, hands down. He's one of my favorite directors on Broadway. You know, this has been the summer of Duke Ellington and the Beach Boys, so I've been listening to a lot of them. See, I don't know if I'm really in any position to be giving others advice, but the greatest advice that I was given when I was a teenager was that as actors, every single one of us has sat in a theater once, whether it was watching something on stage or it was watching a movie, and we were so profoundly moved by what we saw when we were watching that we all had the same thought. I want to make someone else feel like that. And like to never lose that, to always bring that in like every single thing that you do, to like think that there might be one person who watches this or one person out in that audience that you can have the same effect on that you had on yourself when you first saw theater. A lot. One thing is just diversity in the business, like altogether. I mean, seeing more representation for Black and POC actors and characters, and not only just actors and their representation, but also directors and writers and producers, and to not just have one, room that's filled with white people and they love to claim how, woke and diverse they are, but they just throw a handful of people of color or black or brown actors into a show just so they don't get pinned as not being diverse. But in reality, it just isn't diversity at all. It's just so they don't get called racist. And it's insane, and I think that needs to change, especially in the theater community. Probably Instagram and Facebook. Anxiety and depression. The mental health struggle is real. This pandemic has like definitely put my brain through like a cheese grater. But yeah, that's definitely, I think, the biggest struggle, and I think like all of our struggles right now. Right now, I think I would go buy something either in cabin in the woods or a nice little bungalow by the beach, and then give some money to some theaters that are struggling, and then the rest would be going to Beam. Beam is the Black Emotional Mental Health Collective, and it's for training, movement building, and grant marketing. And the organization is dedicated to healing, to wellness, to liberation of the Black and marginalized communities. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And if you want to follow more of my work, please go on Instagram on Will_Callahan. And yeah, support Black Wolves.